Hey guys, welcome once again, to your beautiful beloved series in SRO. Today is the first race of the series, which will be the GT3 and the DPI. I'll be accompanied by Mr. Lorenzo himself. He'll be with me very soon as I try to set up this for you guys. Hello everyone, if you're watching from YouTube. If you're watching from the live stream, I hope you enjoy this series. It's gonna be fun. I know you guys, some of you might have seen already the last series that happened before here, and it was an absolute fire. If you guys missed that out, you can absolutely check that out in the VODs in the SimRacingOnline YouTube channel. Nonetheless, if I can get this control panel working, I might proceed. Yes, everything's working fine. Awesome. It looks like the qualifying already started. We got the two pastores. I'm gonna try to fix that so it's not as confusing. It's gonna be a multi-quali, so every car is allowed to go on lap, on track, with alongside the other class, so it won't be a separate quali, which makes you a little bit worried about if you're gonna get a clean lap or not, because you never know who's gonna show up the next lap. Because as we know, the DPI classes are very are faster on the straight lines, so the braking points also will be shorter. You won't anticipate it until it happens. So hopefully drivers are aware of that. We see Alex Mori going through turn 2. Now up to turn 4. Looks like everyone went ahead. We see Alex, it looks like a custom livery, and it is indeed a custom livery for Alex Mori. In his BMW M4 GT3, recently added by Studio 397, on his first lap ever. Now Malaysia is a little bit of a track that has a mix of both. A double apex corner, as you saw Alex just pass through, and some hairpins and low speed corners as well. So in order to get that lap right, you have to nail every apex. Make sure you don't lose the car, keep the back stable, and get the braking point as close as you can to what you normally practiced before. Giuseppe Pastore in the DPI class, in that pink DPI, going in the straight line as quick as he can. Into turn 1, downside to turn 2. Now this is a little bit of a downhill, so you gotta be careful with the weight the distribution of the car, as the weight transfers all the way to the front, so the rear can be loose. You gotta be careful there. He sets the fastest first sector as he goes up the hill into the long corner that requires a big amount of downforce, as he keeps it in line there. Try to hug the next one after. A little bit deep, but looks like he kept the speed up into the double apex high speed corner. Goes, oh, that was a I got a bit excited as the lag kicked in right there, as Nicola Pastore is also behind him. It looks like the tower for classes is showing a different name, so we'll try to get that sorted out. As Nicola Pastore sets up the second fastest sector 2, and he spins. Oh my god, loses it, spins the car. That was I believe that was the Yeah, because this looks like it's the start finish line, but it's not. It should be on the end, so he kind of lost it there. He already lost his fastest first sector as he spins again, blocking up Tanner Selvi. Everything is going downhill for Pastore right now. Looks like he has to go again for another lap. As you may or may not know, the use of escape in the qualifying is prohibited. It is equivalent to leaving your car, so in order for you to get a new tire or get repair, you must bring the car back in the pit, which seems like Pastore haven't done yet, which leads me to question why. Because then there is only 10 minutes left for the race. Looks like we get another yellow as we try to sort out, because it looks like since there's three cars, a Mazda and a different Mazda, my layout is trying to show that there is a separate car at its own class, which is not true. As you see, it's the RSS MCA DPI. I'm sure that's gonna mess up with the results, but we'll make sure that gets sorted out for the next nice race. As Giuseppe Pastore is still in the lead now with a lap of a 148.2, going in that straight line right before the chicane, or excuse me, the hairpin to the left. Looks like somebody might have been joined or rejoined. It loses the back a little bit. It looks like the drivers are not yet familiar with these type of cars, so they're trying to find those limits, but at the same time it looks like it's compromising their laps. As we go to see some of the GT cars, Carl Middleton in the lead right now, goes a little bit wide there. Looks like there's some sort of a internet issue, not sure if it's on the broadcast server or the game, but I'm sure that will be sorted out as we move on to the race. Carl Middleton is about to go to the last corner before crossing the start finish line. He had the fastest first sector, and he's going to cross. Is it going to put him back in first? Absolutely not. Stays second. It looks like Gutierrez decided to switch to the GT cars. Last season we broadcasted, he was on the LMP cars. It seems like Mr. Joni decided to go for a different taste, different class, a new challenge, and Guti is already at the top with a lap of a 2 minute 8/10. Amazing stuff, but he's not that far behind Carl Middleton, as it's only 0.045 behind ahead of Carl Middleton. Sorry. As Peter is yet to put his best lap, putting a 2 minute 2 seconds, 1.4 seconds behind the second position, which is Carl Middleton. As we see Peter Vlar going into that corner, requires the car to be stable in order for you to get the best. As also, if you as we see a car behind him spinning, that's gonna throw a yellow in sector 2. Hopefully it doesn't compromise other drivers. Oh, and Peter loses it to the wall. Wow. Wow, that must have been quite a hit for Mr. Peter Vlar. Looks like he has to go back to the pit to get another car spins. And just in front of him, looks like that was probably Carl Middleton, if I'm not mistaken. No, it looks like Carl Middleton is ahead. I'm not sure which one has the custom setup, because I've seen it. We'll find out later. Michael Rizzo hits out of the pit to put another lap, as it's still Pastore in the lead in the DPI class, followed up by Selvi. As he goes into downhill. Now that corner is a little bit tricky because it's sort of an uphill to downhill, so you have to keep the car in a straight line between those double apexes going downhill, as the back tend to loosen up sometimes, and you lose quite a time, even though it's not felt it's not greatly felt. In the times you can still see that you're losing time, as a yellow has been thrown in sector 3. A lot of people are losing position and losing the car, my beg pardon, because it looks like they're not familiar, as every driver of these, what you see right now, were on a different class before. They were driving the GTE, not the GT3, and the DPI drivers were driving the LMP cars, not the DPI. Now the similarity is a little bit close, but the driving behavior is quite different. Requires a different approach, a different tackle. As Michel Rizzo, did I just call him Michael? I'm calling him Michel. I guess we'll have to ask him after the race to be sure. As it's been also a challenge to get the name of the drivers right. We've been screwing that at all over the place. So apologies for that. As John Vitti guessed, P7 in that blue Bentley also has a good lap, a 2 minute, or is that a target? Sorry, that's the target time. Control layout had me confused, as I thought that was his lap, but the target lap for him is a 2:08, and the best he did so far is a 2:35, a 2 minute 3 seconds 5/10. As the Pastor is in the DPI class, seems to be still taking control. They're yet to be touched. They can't be touched, as Tanner Selby is about 2 seconds behind, and Andrew Harper hasn't done a lap yet. I gotta make sure he hasn't. He did a lap, which was a 1:52, way too off. So I assume something must have happened. Paulo Rodriguez is still to put an official good lap, 5 seconds behind the car ahead of him. And Gilas Silva is also on the attack to put another lap to possibly get something, because he does a 1:57, which I assume something must have went off.
Hello everyone, I have finally joined NAS for this amazing Sepang race. For people joining us now, we're watching the qualifying session of the DPI versus GT3 Multiclass championship, hosted by our good friends at SimRacingOnline.co.uk. If you want to be part of the series, please make sure to check them out. They produce good racing, and they have plenty of series going on basically every sim, from Automobilista to our Factor 2 to Assetto Corsa and Assetto Corsa Competizione as well. So be sure to check them out. They really are good people, great drivers, clean racing, fair racing, and close battles as well. So be sure to check them out. And yeah, it's going to be quite interesting to see the DPIs in a kind of unfamiliar environment, in the hot temperature at Sepang. Kind of strange also to see them so close with each other. I mean, the two Pastore at the front, separated by just 0.047 of a second. That's a staggering amount of points. And then we have Tanner Selby 2 seconds off, but still very close. And as we know, this is an endurance championship, so everything can happen in the race. It's going to be interesting.
Now, some of you might got confused because of if you're watching from the stream, not from YouTube, some of you might got confused with the title, so should have been fixed right now. As we say, Giles de Silva has done.
He has improved. He's improving.
He set a personal best in his first sector, and he's yet to put his. Because I believe there's a lot of drivers are still trying to figure out the limits of the car, because as you can see, the more we go into the qualifying, you'll start to see that black yellow line, which indicates there's more rubber, which also refers to more grip. So that you can simulate on your own in the practice session, but it's hard to get right. So the drivers have to,
Very tough, yes.
indeed, as they have to get used to it, and sometimes it can also put you at disadvantage if you don't know how to handle it.
Absolutely, and you actually have to be so precise with this car because they are so sensitive. Look at the car getting out of shape, out of the slow corner. The slow corners are the thing to really the killer because it's so tough to get the apex right, especially in the last section of the track. And Nas knows this well because he's raced here many times. And yeah, this is a track you do not want to underestimate, especially with DPIs.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I had quite a bit of experience in this track, and I've been driving a, GT3 car, and I can tell you this track requires a tremendous amount of focus. As you might see that there's some long straights, but the following up is really hard to nail, and requires you to be in that zone. And
Absolutely.
imagine Lorenzo doing that in front of a lot of people trying to get ahead of you, which will be very tough as we.
Yeah, no, it's a tough business, and also you have to keep in mind that you with DPIs are not made specifically to race at this track, so it's really a complete new setting for everyone. So you basically you can have experience with prototypes and races like racetracks like Sepang or maybe Shanghai, which is quite similar, but you really do not have any experience of the two things mixed together. You do not know how the DPI will behave on a track like this and on a condition like Sepang, because Sepang is one of the toughest races in the season. It's a real killer for both the driver and the car. So it's going to be interesting for that matter. Let's see how the drivers can cope with this.
Absolutely, as it looks like Giuseppe was about to.
Yeah, Pastore going to pits.
Yeah, he was about to get a lap done, but decided to quit on that. Sure, what was the reason? Because the qualifying is over right now.
Probably aborted the lap.
He might have.
Yeah, his sectors were slow in the last.
Yeah, he had the fastest first
lap,
sector.
What a great show by the Pastore guys.
Absolutely dominating performance as a.
And it's interesting to see that the LMP2 champion from the previous S397 series, of which, by the way, you can find the full race on SimRacingOnline. Johnny Gutierrez being again on the top of the charts in GT3 class. So that shows you how Johnny is able to adapt to new cars and new situations. And really, really amazing to see Gutierrez P1 in GT3 with Middleton just shy of the series champion. Now, this is a track that many people know because of Formula One. The track was built at the end of the 90s to host Formula One in particular. But then it started also having a few Asian Le Mans Series races here and also Super GT. Let's not forget that the first one, I think it was 2005, the first time Super GT raced here. So it's pretty much a historic track as of now. And you will see the drivers go at it, as we know, to try and get the crown and the win at such track. So really great to see them produce qualifying like this. Pastore in P1 and P2 actually, Stelvi P3, Rodriguez P4, and Da Silva in P5, with Harper at the bottom of the charts in DPI class. Then we have Johnny Gutierrez in GT3, conquering another amazing pole position. Then we have Middleton in P2 with just shy, 2/10 shy of the previous series champion. And such a great field. Tony Talvici, the teammate of Johnny Gutierrez in the previous series in the BMW P3, Michele Rizzo in the Aston Martin. Great to see Michele back to his original form. John Vitiges with the Bentley P5, Joe Brown in P6, Peter Vlar in P7, Alex Moore with lots of BMWs here in the first top 10. Then we have Brett Metcalf with the amazing McLaren 720S and Lewis Middleton completing the top 10. Barrett Ericsson, P11 with the BMW. Great to see also Samir Arshad being able to race with the BMW. Yeah, plenty of no name, but this is a completely new series with new cars and new tracks. So I don't know about you, Sunat, but I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, indeed, Lorenzo. I'm absolutely looking forward to what's going to happen next. The Pastori seems to be the dominating driver so far, and Gutierrez is transferring to GT3 and also transferring that domination that he had in the LMP cars in the last season of the GTE and LMP cars. And absolutely, this is going to be fire. I'm very much looking forward to who's going to be who's going to be crowned the champion of the series. It'll be interesting. As Johnny Gutierrez sits in the garage trying to set up his car, to be precise. It looks like he heard me and went ahead to do his first lap. Lots of BMWs, as Lorenzo said. Seems like it's the car to go for, isn't it, Lorenzo?
Yeah, it's a pretty easy car to drive, and most people have shown interest in the way to set up the BMW. The BMW looks to be very easy to modify and to adapt to a new racetrack. And what a better car to start a new championship. I mean, we have seen the previous past cars being slightly superior to others because of setups changes, and also as a track like Sepang is very, very important to nail the setup because you gotta cope with the humidity. Brakes must be kept cool at all times because you have quite a few tough braking points here. We have to remember this is a track made by Tilke, so you got a long straight with a heavy, heavy braking zone and a slow corner, and then again a straight with a heavy braking zone. So brakes must be kept monitored at all times, and also tires. I mean, does it even need to be told? I mean, tires are the game changer on GT3 cars. So it's important to nail the pressure, nail the temperature to start the race with, and yeah, you actually have to nurse the tires in the middle sector as well because you have quite a few fast corners there, and those right tires and left tires also take the beating. So it will be interesting to see how the drivers can manage all these tricky conditions all together, and I'm looking forward to finding out who's going to come out on top.
Oh, absolutely, Lorenzo. Absolutely. This is gonna be interesting because you never know who can come out on top. As we saw last time, every time we got a different winner. Mostly was
Yes, absolutely, and
yeah, it was hard to guess pretty much.
yes. Also, we apologize. There's a slight issue with the overlay there. It says Road America GP, but it's a
Yeah,
problem with the overlay. We are so sorry about this.
yeah. Looks like the game didn't want to forget about what happened last season, did it?
Yeah, probably the racing at Road America was so good and so amazing that the game didn't want to forget about
No,
it.
it did
And
not.
if you do not want to forget about these races, boys, go check SimRacingOnline on YouTube, where they have all the races of the amazing and pretty close S397 Endurance Series that ended quite a few weeks ago now, but is still very much fresh in our minds.
It seems to me that the warm up is over. We're gonna be switching to the to the race in a moment, as it looks like we have other drivers still driving. And
Pumping.
yeah, here we go again. We're back at it, Lorenzo. Another season, different cars, same drivers. We got new drivers too.
Field.
Absolutely, we got new drivers too. Who's gonna come out on top?
I can't wait to find out. We see Giuseppe and Nicola Pastore at the front there with Tanner Selby, the Acura, looking as sharp as ever. DPIs, man, such a great category, underrated cars.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like there's a lot of people for the first race.
Yes, the attendance was really good. As we now see the formation lap starting, and it's really interesting to see what the strategy will be as well on tires. I am looking forward to finding out the strategy for the tires, because I have an idea. I have made myself an idea of what's going to happen, but I really want to see if this actually plays in the hands of the leaders, because we know that most of the leaders tend to kind of kill the tires in the first laps, and then even if they build a slight advantage, they fall off as the race goes on. But it will really be amazing to see if Giuseppe Pastore and Nicola Pastore can confirm what they showed in GTE last season. They raced only in a few occasions, but really made a show for it.
Absolutely.
Also, they have to battle a guy that was one of the most skilled drivers in the field last season, Tanner Selby in P3. That's a guy you do not want to have in your rear view mirror. So Pastore there, I'm surprised they're not heating up the tires. Probably the temperature is so hot already that you not want to put any more heat into the amazing Michelin tires. Gutierrez starting in P1, he will not want to do the mistakes he did in the last few races last season, where he got a penalty. I think it was Istanbul. He got a penalty for infringing the start procedure. Middleton right by his side with Telvici in P3. So interesting starting positions for the GT3 class as well, as we now see the DPIs coming up to the last sector. This is a long, looks endless, doesn't it? A long right-hander before the back straightaway. It's a really tricky corner to get right. The curbs are so slippery there. You cannot lean your car 1 inch forward than it needs to, otherwise you will probably lose the rear.
And I think this is the start of the race.
On the back stretch.
No,
they're about to start, boys.
About to. Oh, sorry, because I always get it confused, because there's two straights and it has pit stalls.
Yes,
or sorry,
it's a symmetric straight.
Really. Yeah, it's really hard to get it right.
Great architecture on the grandstands, a really amazing track. As we now see the DPI is coming up to begin. IMSA DPI
the
GT3 season on SimRacingOnline. Giuseppe Pastore with a great launch off the line. Nicola just on the inside line there. Selby trying to go the conservative way, I think, on the outside. Yes, there we go. Giuseppe Pastore takes the lead. Nicola right behind him. That's the best thing you want to see. Johnny Gutierrez with Carl Middleton on his side now. They start the race. Johnny Gutierrez gets a great launch off the line as well. Michele Rizzo looking to make a move on the inside of Middleton already, as we see a 3 wide behind them. Great racing in the first corner. And Michele Rizzo, I think he's made his stick, but Johnny Gutierrez is really unchallengeable in turn 1. Oh, and there's a massive lag there by the server. I don't know why, but Rizzo P2. And there is a problem, though.
There is a problem, in the server.
Yeah, there's a problem with the server. Server has massive lag.
From our side, our connection is fine. It's not from our end, it's from the server side. It'll be sorted out. It's just a hiccup for now.
Michele Rizzo in P2, there's such an amazing start. He will want to get. He's already applying the pressure on Gutierrez. Look at that.
Yeah, it looks like the server.
Gutierrez now in the central sector. As we see, we deeply apologize for the problems. we're encountering today, boys, but we're trying to solve them. We're trying to make everything we can. Situation is pretty much the same that, confirms the qualifying results. Pastore Giuseppe at the front and Nicola Pastore P2 right behind him. They are so close. Look at that. And they already have a big gap over Salvi in P3. Rodriguez in P4 with Gil da Silva in P5. Harper in P6. Then we have GT3 class with Gutierrez taking the lead. Rizzo in P2 with a great start. He already made a move on Middleton. Joe Brown in P4. John Vidigest in P5. And then all the others. Let's see if Middleton looking up the inside of Rizzo, but is too far back to make a move. Rizzo covers up though, so let's see who gets the traction. Most of the traction out of the last corner. Middleton has a decent run, but really, Rizzo having to protect himself from Middleton.
Yeah,
already.
And Samir, Rika, and Rob Milliken going 3 wide.
Oh, and Milliken in the pits.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Not sure if he was
that's
pushed
Barry
there.
Erickson. Sorry, that's Barry Erickson.
Yeah, it was a lot of BMWs.
Damage from an earlier contact, but Tony Telvice fell back. He fell back a lot of positions.
Yeah, as we see the fight.
He was starting in P3. I'm surprised to see that.
Yeah, looks like Samir didn't.
This is the fight for the last 5 spots, because we see Riccardo Riva now on the outside of Tony Telvice. Great move by the Italian. Such a close fighting between these two. Yeah, look at that. Telvice now having a look. She's surely gonna have a look up the inside. There we go. It's too far back there. Ricardo shuts the door. There's gonna be contact there. Oh, and they go slightly wide, but no contact was made. Great piece of driving by both the drivers.
Absolutely. Looks like the fight is not over yet, as Samir will try to close up to them as well.
Yeah, Samir is looking back at these two, because he's actually having to defend from Ed Jones and Lewis Middleton, who are no slouches. We know how fast these guys are, and the McLaren looking fine, working.
Yeah, compared
to the BMW. I'm surprised about that actually, because the McLaren is such a rigid car, and I think with all the changes of altitude there, it's the BMW probably has the upper end, at least on paper. So great stuff to see Ed Jones fighting with the McLaren 720S.
It looks like the fight is still going on between the...
Oh, Rizzo. Actually, Middleton made the move stick on Rizzo. He got ahead.
He did.
So
he absolutely did.
Falling back to P3 from where he started, effectively. Middleton taking P2 brilliantly with that beautiful red BMW.
Yeah, let's see if he... I think it's far enough to get a lunge. Yeah, it seems to be far enough, as we see Peter joining in from behind. What a great shot. Look at that.
Yeah,
Tony Vidigast as well.
The first corner is so panoramic. It really does justice to the track design.
Yeah.
Now, Michele Rizzo with Aston Martin has a tremendous top speed. So he will try to get the BMW on the long straight, but he has to keep up with the BMW in the central sector, as we see the server is
yeah, looks like
lazy.
I'm sure this is because SimRacingOnline are moving on to a new server size, so I'm assuming that's what's going on, because from our side we're not dropping frames, everything is looking fine, so hopefully that gets sorted out. Hopefully for this race, and if not, maybe for the next race. We'll try to talk to the race organizers to see how we can improve on this small issue, I would call it, as it's hit up here and there, as Pastori guys are still close to each other, but only 1.5 seconds to 1.3. Looks like there's some family issues to solve here. Isn't that right, Laurie?
Absolutely, and Giuseppe Pastore has no intention of, letting his brother get away with it. As we see Rizzo probably having a problem because he's dropping lots of places. He was P2 in GT3 class, he's now P9, so he must have made a mistake somewhere or spun out. and yeah, he disappeared from the chart there for a second. So it's now outside the top 10. Such a shame because Rizzo was right there with Middleton. They probably made contact as well because Brown has overtook Middleton. Is now P2 behind Gutierrez.
He
So
DNF'd,
already
Lorenzo.
drama.
He did.
Rizzo is out.
He DNF'd. He did not. Yeah,
Oh man.
that has to be a hardware issue.
Yeah, for sure. Such a shame though.
So what happened to Barrett Erickson? He's pretty much the last place, isn't he? Yeah, he is. P18.
Yeah, he is. P18. It's strange to see that the champion struggling with the new car, the Ferrari 488. Remember last year he was using the BMW, the old version of the BMW. He switched to Ferrari 488 GT3 this season. That's a great looking livery, by the way. And yeah, unfortunately, he has not been able to find the right setup probably for Sepang. We know the Ferrari is one of the best GT cars, but it can be really tricky to set up. So Barrett Erickson making a hard work to get the car to work, and it's not probably not working out for it at the best manner for now. But race is long. We know Barrett Erickson has been one of the most patient drivers in the last series. Let's see what unfolds. You really never can count him out of the equation, especially not in the first 3 laps.
Yeah, he's been one of my favorite drivers in the last series that happens. Absolutely good concentration by the guy. As Michael Labelle spins the car, looks like the server is also...
spins out, and Rob Billiken made contact with him. The server is probably playing a big role in this because...
Absolutely.
Yeah, Labelle, such an unfortunate situation. He kind of went wide there, as we now see Pastore guy. The Pastore guy is trying to lap him.
Yeah, they're about to lap him.
So nothing bad happens here, but yeah, Michel Labelle really having a problem. Look, he's wide again, so something
wrong must have happened.
Collected big damage on the right side of the car.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a server side, so they just have to cope with it for now until the next race. As he again loses it, looks like he lost his.
Yeah, it's so easy now. If your car is damaged, you really have to limp into the pits rather than try to go back.
Because the driving behavior changes. Pastore guys are on it again.
Oh, there we see Giuseppe. He's in the draft. He's surely gonna have a look at the inside. Look at them.
He's not going easy on his relative.
Nicola is wide. Nicola is wide.
I think that's just the server.
Corner.
He is wide. He is wide. Oh, it's so hard to judge.
There we see him almost side by side with already the GT cars getting lapped. So incredible speed differential.
Oh, GT almost collected.
Oh man, the GT car really didn't see.
Wow, look at that. Look.
Oh man, now the server is impossible to play on today.
Yeah.
These drivers really need to be patient. I would wait. If I was Giuseppe right now, I would wait for the server to stabilize a little bit before making a move, because that can cost you pretty dearly. Tanner Shelby, meanwhile, all alone in 3rd place. Solid place from him for now. Harper in the pits. Strangely enough, there's a DPI in the pits already.
Yeah, it looks like Harper is given his own class for now. For some reason.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a mod.
It is a mod issue. We'll sort it out for the next one. But yeah, Harper is given his own. He's the chosen one, I guess.
He's the special one.
Yeah, the special. Well, he's the last place for now, so that should make things easy to understand. We'll keep you guys posted on his position. He's in P. Sorry, guys. Let me get his position correct because there's a lot of GT cars are passing him. He should be in P6. Looks like technical issues today, and this time server issues. Wow, this is the stuff that you can't get away from a simulator, because when things like this happen, you just have to drive and stay away from drivers that could possibly glitch into you. It's just how it goes. It's the game. And the Paulo Rodriguez, also in a lonely place in P4, 24 seconds behind dropping down to 21 seconds behind Tanner Selby. He's in the position to strike if he puts a good strategy, but he's not that far behind, so he's still there.
Absolutely, and also the pace is showing. I think reveals that he's trying to find his groove with the car and probably getting more experience rather than a big result from this race.
Well, absolutely, it's what you should do. It's the first race. There's still five more races to go, so it wouldn't make sense for you to just throw the car and not ignoring everything you can learn. It's a learning process, so some of the guys are doing just right that, so I'm sure it'll serve them right for the upcoming races. Giles da Silva in the P5 ahead of Harper. Looks like Harper might have DNF'd. We might have to check on
it. He has. He was in the pits for a long time, so maybe he had damage from
DNF'd, yeah.
problems.
Not sure.
Unfortunately, Andrew Harper is such a good driver. A shame to see him go really early in the first race, but I'm pretty sure he will rebound in the next one.
Absolutely. As the Pastori guys are still right behind each others. Nobody's letting this go easy. Everyone is talking the Pastori.
Yeah, look at the GT car going at it.
Yeah.
This is quite remarkable.
It's a traffic jam. As the LP cars, the DPI cars trying to lap the GT3 cars. That should quite give... I mean, if you use that, like I said this before, if you use the GT cars or the slower class than you, for you to make some advantage, it could come handy. But so far, it looks like Giuseppe is the one that's taking that for his advantages. He's 3.7 seconds ahead now of his relative Nicola. As Giuseppe already ahead of the traffic. He's clear for now.
Yeah, the Acura is working pretty well. It looks stable in the corners.
Indeed.
Doesn't wobble around too much. So really showing what the DPI is all about. Having that enormous downforce, both on the front end and back end, with a lot of aero work. And GT cars on the other side are producing more mechanical grip, which really helps in the long corner here. But also torquey cars like the Bentley and the BMW that we are seeing right here on the onboard of Carl Middleton. So torquey that you can actually throw them around a little bit to have just to find the right spot to exploit some of that asphalt a little bit more. As we've seen a BMW working pretty good in the right-hander. Let's see if he can keep it close for the apex. Yes, he can. The Bentley is able to get a good traction.
Yeah.
Though. So he might have a breathing space to protect himself.
Looks like the Bentley is also faster in the straight lines.
Yeah, the Bentley can protect itself. It's got a big engine, so compared to the BMW, which has a straight 6, the Bentley has a V8. So really the clash of engines right here.
Absolutely, it seems like it's always that the Bentley is always going ahead. So hard to catch up with it in the straight lines. But the BMW always get that edge in the braking. As we see, he gets closer in the braking zones. But then again, the exit as always comes out to the advantage of Joe Brown. He's going for his same livery he was going with for the last series. Absolutely looking beautiful. He's not that far ahead from Alex Morey. He's about 6 seconds dropping to 7 seconds behind Carl Middleton. He's being chased by John Villegas right now.
John Villegas is closing, and he will be looking at a bigger BMW every lap. One thing I wanted to underline is that Brad Metcalf has made 3 places up, and also Middleton has made 6. So
yeah,
pretty good start from Metcalf right there.
Absolutely. Because VD Guest is right on the end of that BMW.
Yeah, the Bentley is struggling in those low corners, but he has tremendous top end. So he has to make the Bentley work right here in these last few corners. Just keep the apex sharp and precise. He will be able to get around on the backstretch. There we go. That's that. Oh, tricky to keep that car on the road. The BMW is gone.
Yeah, he lost
As we see
the back a little
yellow
bit.
flags in sector 2, I believe, and they just went away.
Yeah, it must have been some backhand cars. This car Middleton was also in the chase of Joe Brown right now, about less than a second behind. Brett Metcalf is also not that far behind in his McLaren 720. Only about 2.3 seconds, so as the battle starts to unfold between John and Alex, Brett Metcalf might get his shot as well, as the battle is just right ahead of his eyes. He's not that far.
That's working also in the hands of Didier Coelho with the Ferrari.
This is gonna get stacked up pretty much.
This is gonna be an interesting battle. Look at these cars. Brett Metcalf in the McLaren making up time, big time, towards John Vidiguest and more. So Nigel Middleton right here in P8, do not count him out the equation yet, because we're barely in 20 minutes into the race, and already we have GT3 class building tension that we'll see them ignite towards each other with the pit strategy. So it's really interesting to see.
But so far, Nigel Middleton is safe from Ricardo Riva. About 13 seconds behind. Ricardo Riva is behind Nigel Middleton. He's looks like he's having a tough race. His lap times are a little bit not what Ricardo has shown us in his last races, but maybe it's just a matter of understanding the mod, understanding the car as he goes wide and spins it.
Spins a big time into the wall. That's gonna be the end of it for Ricardo Riva.
Yeah, that's DNF for Ricardo Riva.
That's the end of it, unfortunately. That's a big shunt into the wall. We might get us a full course yellow for this, because we're gonna have
he
to
quickly DNF'd, thankfully.
There we see, Ricardo having to DNF from the car. Such a shame, but he was on the edge right there on the curb. So unforgiving. That outside curb right there where Rob Milliken has just passed, that is so unforgiving. It's like soap. It's so slippery. The car tends to slip out easily, and you really have to be careful.
Nigel Middleton also had some. Looks like he stopped his car.
Yeah, so he stole it. I would say he has damage though to that Porsche.
Yeah, a lot of DNFs
as well. Oh man,
what a shame.
Such a shame. Nigel Middleton, this was winding up to be quite the battle. We actually jinxed it for the poor Nigel. Yeah, as we see Brett Metcalf is right there with Alex Moore now, and John Vidiguest. So three-way battle with Carl Middleton leading this four-car pack as they now go into the third corner, uphill section towards the double bust left and right. That brings you all the way to the second sector.
What an unfortunate turn of event. What an unfortunate turn of event, Lorenzo. A lot of DNF.
Yeah, indeed. And also, we have our first DPI, actually I should say second for Harper's sake. Unfortunately, Rodriguez, the number 10 car from P5 in DPI class, has retired. We have got confirmation of it. Probably hardware issues, I guess. Once again, such a great shame to lose all these cars in barely the first 25 minutes of the race.
Yeah, it's either a hardware issue or a server side or a driver fault. It's pretty much been the ingredients for the DNF.
Server is improving though. I think this stabilized a little bit.
Yeah, as a lot of people are leaving.
General Selby in the Mark Shank Racing Acura DPI cars, a great looking livery.
Absolutely, looking beautiful.
Colors and, look at the flame. The DPI is so fast, so powerful out of these downhill long right-hander as he now comes to lap Barrett Ericsson. Barrett Ericsson is nowhere today. I have no idea
Yeah,
why.
P13
Maybe
so far.
he is really struggling with the car today.
Maybe he needs a feel for it. Maybe he needs a couple races. Maybe he's been used to the GTE cars so
Or
long.
maybe he's on a very, very long stint. But that's pretty strange in Barrett's style. We know he's one of the. He usually stays in the mid pack until the second half of the race, and then he attacks in the last one, where everyone tends to be caught out by his techniques. And we know he's a very, very patient driver. And in the past, he has produced some amazing drives in the wet. I remember Patras, for example, the round 2 of the S397 Endurance Series, or also, what was it, Daytona in the last round, where he sealed the championship with an amazing and precise, flawless drive, I should say.
Absolutely, but I think something must have happened to Mr. Barrett, because he was in the last place.
Yeah, I know.
But now he's up some places. He's P13. He's getting there. He's getting into the rhythm.
Yeah, also a couple of lucky retirements could get him well into the top 10.
Absolutely, a lucky dog for the race.
Yeah. As we now see Giuseppe Pastore using all the power of that Acura to pass Rob Milliken, who is fairly getting out of the way of the DPI.
Wow, look at the speed of that car.
Look at that shot. The DPI is so fast in that section.
What a wonderful
really
shot.
Working well. I was concerned about the DPI's life in Sepang, but they really look sleek in this track. So nice to see. And it's also interesting to see that both Nicola and Giuseppe have the same exact pace. Actually, Nicola is slightly faster now. He's improving. That first sector was his personal best.
Yeah, but
so maybe track condition is improving also on grip levels now.
Yeah, but slightly. When you say slightly faster, about 0.010. That's quite
That's quite the amount. You actually have to think that this is two different people with probably different setups on a different car, effectively. And look at the amount of time they're able to make up. Such a close fight.
Absolutely, I'm loving it so far. I'm loving it. As both cars
now
are...
Nicola with a nice draft. That's also going to play into the strategy.
He should wait for the next
that's
one.
That's going to save your fuel.
Absolutely, but he should wait. I mean, I'm sure, because even if he passes him, he might get passed again because they're on the same pace. This is probably going to come down to a strategy play. I guess we just have to wait for who's going to pit first. Because
it will be really crucial to also keep an eye on the timing, as we now see Samir Rashad making way for the two DPI cars to pass in turn 1 and 2. Turn 1 and 2 have been criticized at Shanghai, funnily enough, because they are too similar to Sepang's turn 1 and 2. I remember back in the day when Shanghai was first introduced into the calendar, people were enthusiastic about the central sector and also the final sector, where you had that 1.1 kilometer straight with the heavy braking zone and the hairpin at the end. But I believe that's actually a good corner for both drivers, because you actually really have to be precise in the steering input and the throttle input as well. Oh, as we see Nicola struggling to keep the speed in control, and he almost goes wide there, lapping the Lewis Middleton BMW in GT class. Oh, such a close race. Now we see these GT cars are actually fighting, so the DPIs have to make space for themselves, because these GT drivers won't make, they won't let the others get close.
Lewis Middleton get by.
Lewis Middleton, with the opportunistic move on Coelho, making progress up the field.
I mean, Lorenzo, that's exactly what I talked about when I said using traffic to your own advantage. That's literally a living proof of what you could do, and looks like
Tom Parton going. That was Tom Parton, by the way, not Coelho. And Tom Parton getting back at it after the backstretch. Such a great braking zone there by Tom Parton. Late brakes really good maneuver there. Now Middleton won't be able to make the place back by the end of the straight, as we see Parton braking for turn one. So good maneuver there by Tom.
Yeah, he got his place right ahead. It looks like this fight is not going to end as we get another yellow, sector 2.
Yellow flags. Maybe probably somebody went wide there.
Most likely.
Tom Parton really showing his teeth, because Middleton is no slouch, and he passed him in a quite opportunistic way there in what I believe was turn 17, the long right-hander, and Tom Parton saying, have a bit of that, and immediately took the place back. That's a great racing, and that's what we want to see. Now, the BMW of Parton's getting slightly out of shape into the fast right-hander there. Let's see how we can cope with the fast corners. Working pretty good. It got good traction now as they go towards the uphill slow left-hander. Heavy braking zone here. Lewis Middleton able to recover a few meters towards the twin BMW. Yeah, and that's for P3 effectively, because they have catched Alex Moore, which has been racing in P3 for ever since the race started, really. So nice three-way battle there. Two BMWs and a Bentley. That's pretty good to see.
Indeed, Jean-Philippe Guest has made up a lot of places. They're now fighting for the possibly third position, a podium.
Yeah, podium places.
Yeah, let's see how this is gonna...
Oh, and look at this. The leaders are coming up the lap.
Story, guys. They're not going easy on each other, are they?
Oh man, they have to be careful. They're gonna touch if they keep doing that.
I mean, Lorenzo, you have a lot of experience with managing a team, and when you see something like this, especially when they're relative, and I'm sure they practice together, this is makes you
I mean, it's a kind of 50-50 situation, to be honest, because you see two drivers there, 1 and 2 in position-wise, and so a part of you wants to keep this result, but the other part wants to see them go at each other, because that's going to bring the spectacle towards the race. So, you know, it's a trade-off, really. You can argue and a big crash there. One of the DPIs collected with Joe Brown. Sorry, not Joe Brown. I think it was Moore. Alex Moore, yes, correct. Alex Moore lost the place to both Middleton and BD Guest. Now, that was a pretty scary... We have seen that curve, getting people napping. Because that's as we said, that's a pretty unforgiving curve. And that's now the second car that has collected big damage from that.
It's because of the livery that I misjudged, and I thought it was the Bentley, but since they have the same livery, it was Alex Moore that...
Yeah, Alex Moore
lost that place, which gives a handout to Carl Middleton, which is now in P3.
That's, Carl Middleton will say, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
But now Joe Moore has to build it once again. He was running strong in P3, really. He was making a fight for it. And now we have no idea how much damage exactly he has, but he looks to be holding back. But this lap doesn't really count because it's fun. We will see next lap, I think. He looks slow, though. He looks to be slower than he was before.
I mean, Carl Middleton is not in a position to relax yet, because he's about to be bombarded by Jean-Philippe Guest behind him. Jean-Philippe Guest is not going to let him go, absolutely. He sees a podium right ahead of him.
And he is also one of the most aggressive guys, but clean.
Absolutely, keeps it clean.
On attack maneuvers, he's so good at finding the right timing and the right spot to overtake you. He's quite a dangerous guy, if you want to say that in your mirrors, because you know he's going to try to make a move, and it's also unpredictable sometimes.
Yeah, and even when he's defending, you can't predict what he's going to do, because
it's really tough to figure him out, and I think that's one of the most important assets that a driver needs to have. You got to be able to change and modify your ways for every race. Otherwise, people are just going to study you, and the next thing you know is they got you covered. all the way and you can do a move. So John Villegas really making a show for it now in P4. He's surely gonna hound Middleton until he cracks under pressure for that P3.
Oh, absolutely. As Lewis Middleton is less than a second behind Tom Parton. This fight has been going on for a while now.
Yeah, Middleton and Parton, they have now on the same pace pretty much. Middleton's slightly faster out of that corner. He's now got the outside though in the left-hander there. They touch a little bit. Lewis Middleton is able to keep it and get away with it. Parton really keeping his cool right there. Good job from Tom. Oh, and again Lewis Middleton touches him a little bit. Lewis is so much faster, looks like it now, as they approach the long right-hander before the backstretch.
Yeah,
Make sure to get a good traction. Lewis Middleton pointing his car right at the perfect direction.
Yeah, good job by Lewis right there.
And look who's coming back, Ed Jones with the McLaren 720.
Yeah, looks like Ed Jones is sneaking up behind the battle, and Tom Parton lost it.
Comes into Tom Parton. Such a shame to see that happen. And Tom Parton is now spun round at the last corner. There he is trying to recover the car. Is losing time as we speak.
He dropped to P9.
He's now able to recover. He's now P10 actually behind Samir Rashad. Probably misjudging braking zone there by.
Yeah, not sure what happened there. We might have to check the replay after because the replay function isn't. As we got information that it's our factor side that it doesn't let it work for now. So we'll have to check the replay after the race. But John Villegas now is in P5. Looks like he also got affected by what happened to Parton.
Yeah, probably more and Villegas lost a place.
Yeah, and it looks like
Middleton is now in front of them, so something must have happened to these two. Maybe they touched and went off, both of them. We are not sure. We will let you know in case we find out something. We now have Gutierrez 24 seconds clear on Joe Brown in P2. Middleton 8 seconds behind P2. Then we have more Villegas pretty much fighting with each other. Coelho in a space of his own 6 seconds from these two guys, so he'll be on it to try and recover a few seconds as these two tangle. Then we have Jones 77 seconds behind Gutierrez, such a massive lead. Then Middleton and Arshad very close to each other, and then completing the top 10 is Rob Millikan.
But it looks like nothing much is happening in the DPI class, except from the Pastori relatives are fighting. They're about 5 seconds ahead. Behind them, Tanner Salviti, 46 seconds behind Lorenzo.
That's a pretty big amount of time. That's 36 minutes gone now, so that's more than 1 second per lap on average. And the Pastori guys have always been fighting ever since the race started, so that's a pretty worrying side. Selby will want to work better on the car for the next races, as we now see Gilda Silva being serviced at the pits.
Yeah, I mean, apart from we have only 4 cars now in the DPI class. We dropped from 7 cars, I believe, or maybe 6 to 4 cars now. De Silva is in the pit. Yet he gets out right now as we speak. Has blue flag, has to respect that. Must keep his car in the white line. Does so, goes into the first corner, into downhill.
Top lap is critical. He will need to put the temperature into the tires as soon as possible and try to get as much time as he can on Selby to challenge him by the end of the race. Now Selby needs to keep his cool because nothing's decided yet. So anything can happen, and a little mistake can actually cost you dearly as the race goes on.
Well, looks like I have some information, Lorenzo. This is gonna be sad yet funny, because there's been probably a friend of Parton that has been asking if partner had crashed yet, and it looks like he might have predicted the future.
Yeah, I did actually, because Spartan had a tangle with Middleton, and so yeah, it's a tough business, really. Sometimes it's a cruel business, I would say. Racing and sports in general, you can actually be strong all race day long and then make a small mistake that will put you into a bad situation and just escalates from there. It's a tough business. You really gotta be on it all the time.
Oh, indeed, Lorenzo.
Oh, and we see Tanner Selby actually
Yeah,
making a
gets it a
mistake
little
there.
wide there.
Actually, sorry, the Silva making a slight mistake. That's not what he wants to do if he wants to challenge Selby for the podium.
Indeed. And
Look
how
at
long
these
is this
two,
fight
man.
been going on, Lorenzo?
It's
Look at that.
incredible.
Absolutely incredible. Nobody's giving up. I think Nicola might have managed to get past Giuseppe because Nicola has been all the time he's been behind. Now he's ahead of his relative. Wow, Giuseppe goes a little bit wide there. They just lapped the Silva, so it looks like the Silva is fighting, but he was lapped.
Although the Silva lost quite a bit amount of time
He
in the
did. He
pits,
absolutely did.
these two are yet to pit, so we'll see what the strategy plays like.
I'm gonna have to talk about Johnny Gutierrez. I'm gonna have to talk about the champion of the last series, the man himself, dominating this series, 25 seconds ahead of everybody, inserting dominance, showing that he's capable of winning in both classes, and he's the only Johnny Gutierrez in his beautiful BMW, isn't he, Laurie? Look at him. A champion doing champion things. Doing his laps, clean laps, not having to worry about battling anyone because the level he's showing is
He's
really high.
dominating, isn't it?
He's so far now he's relaxed. He's in a cruise mode, absolutely relaxed, has nothing to worry about. All he has to do is bring that beautiful BMW to the cross finish line and win this race. We're looking to a possible champion, Lorenzo. And absolutely, this is a jinx-free comment brought to you by Ether Racing Team. Or we're a broadcast team now. We'll be racing soon. But yeah, you'd love to see Johnny Gutierrez in the race.
Absolutely, he does make a show for it, and he's been a spectacular driver all season long. Last time around at the S397 Endurance Series, I'm pretty sure he will be just as spectacular in this DPI GT3 series. Gutierrez, as we said, dominating the race from lap 1, is now effectively 45, some 46 seconds clear of Joe Brown. Behind him, there's been quite the fight going on between Moore and BD Guest. Bernd Eriksson has been probably the surprise in unfortunately a negative way for today, because he's been off the pace really all race long for now. It's we hope he can recover the pace that he had last season in the future races, but for now it looks like Johnny Gutierrez is the man to beat as we go into the 48th minutes mark. Gutierrez leading in GT class by some 50 seconds toward Joe Brown. Middleton P3, Moore P4, and Vitiges completing the top 5. DPI class sees the two Pastori guys going at it with each other in P1 and P2, with Tanner Selby and Gilles de Silva going in P3 and P4. As Nas just said, the broadcast brought to you by Either Racing Team. If you want to join us, look up for the links in the Twitch chat. You can find everything here, and also on our Instagram. And if you want to be part of this amazing championship, that make sure to check simracingonline.co.uk, where the guys produce quite a good amount of sim racing series, both on R Factor 2 and Automobilista 2 and Assetto Corsa as well. So plenty of stuff to do if you're a sim racer. And yeah, the content is amazing. Racing is close. Well, what else? Can you really desire something better? I don't think so. Pastore, it's the guy in P2. So Giuseppe Pastore in the pits, that's going to be the game changer for this race and DPI battle as well. He was able to get out of the pits pretty easily, but Selvi has now got in front of him. Selvi, of course, yet to make his way into the pit lane for the scheduled stop. So yeah, Giuseppe Pastore, sorry, is the first guy to pit. We'll see about Nicola now, as the race is almost half completed. Camera staying on Johnny Gutierrez because he's been producing a flawless drive for now. He's now 29 seconds clear and improving on Joe Brown. Probably nursing the tires as the night is falling on the racetrack. More NVIDIA guests as close to each other as ever. We would like the Regis to switch to the battle that we're. More NVIDIA guests are just separated by 4/10 of a second, and they will be battling all the way to the first stop. There we see them going at it in the first section of the track. The Bentley working really well there. To put the pressure on the BMW. John Villegas is really an amazing attacker when it comes to trying to overtake a car. Look at the speed differential between those two. The BMW heavy on the brakes. Bentley just follows him up the uphill section. John Villegas slightly wide is able to get away with it though. Now as they go into the fast sweeping left and right hander, it really flows on you this section. Then we see two fast and bumpy right-handers where you really hurt the left tires, and be sure to stay out of the outside curve, otherwise your car will tend to spin. And Alex Moore keeping John Villegas honest as of now.
Yeah, Villegas has been putting a good show. It looks like the pardon incident cost him the possible podium of today, but he's still in the P5. He's fighting Alex Moore. I mean, a P4 wouldn't be a bad result for the first race, because he got still 5 more races to go. I keep saying 6. Not a bad result for John Villegas. Not a bad result in his favorite Bentley car. Carl Middleton is also in the fight.
Turner Selby in the pits, and Carl Middleton as well pitting as the night falls on Sepang.
Yeah, the night is also it changes the behavior of the track as it gets colder, but you still get the grippy line, so you gotta keep the car into that grippy line and also watching your tire temperature as you drive. Carl Middleton is in the pit, yet to get out, as Alex Moore and John Villegas get past him in the pit lane, going into the first corner. It's a long, small, kind of. It's weird to understand this corner, but you have to drive it as John Villegas is right behind Alex Moore. Alex Moore makes a little mistakes, gives the position to John. Alex Moore is not going to give it up.
John Villegas pointing the car in just the right direction to put the pressure on Alex Moore, who crashed. Unfortunately, made a slight mistake going into the second corner.
Yeah, but
now Villegas, look at him trying to cut the toe to avoid Moore getting back at him. The BMW obviously keeping up with the V8 powered Bentley.
I mean, if I had to speak my mind about Alex Moore and John Villegas, the skill level is pretty much on par. All they got on par. Sorry, all they got to do is just keep the focus on. As Johnny Vegas
Oh,
does
John
the opposite thing of what I just
on
said.
the outside curve. That's been the killer all race long, and more having a loop at the inside, but
Getting
not
close.
quite close enough.
He's about he wants to touch that bumper, but at the same time wants to keep it clean. Alex Moore is in the difficult position now. It looks like he couldn't take advantage of what happened to John Villegas. As I was speaking about keeping the car intact, and John Villegas goes and shows that how it could affect the race, as we're 42 minutes to go, and the Pastori is in the pits. Which Pastori? It is Nicola Pastori. Looks like he's trying to undercut, sorry, his relative, Giuseppe. Yeah, he's still in the pit, as we see a DNF car right behind him. Giuseppe Pastori must push this lap because he knows his brother or his relative, not sure the relationship, he's in the pit right now, so he gotta push before he pits. It'll be for his good will to pit right now, to not lose much time because the tires degradation.
I reckon Giuseppe may just have the upper hand. Nicola has had a longer pit stop. We lost 2 seconds there in the pit lane. Now Giuseppe is coming out the start-finish line right now. There we see him getting out of the pit lane. This is gonna be close. Giuseppe is right ahead. Giuseppe, he narrates the lead. And what a great strategy, great undercut by Giuseppe on Nicola, as he now takes the lead, and he's obviously he has clear track, I think. I don't think he has anybody in front of him for now.
Somebody gets a penalty. Samir Arshad gets a penalty. Not sure why. Might be a track limit, or could have been
probably pit limiter infringement, maybe.
It might have been because he just got
it's a drive-through, so it's weird.
Yeah, something happened to Samir Arshad. Currently in a P11, behind 34 seconds behind Ericsson. Ericsson has made it to the top 10 from last position. Made up quite a places. Ericsson. Ed Jones made up 13 places ahead. Look at that. And Coelho 8 places. Fantastic stuff by these drivers. Absolute will to not give up. As Ed Brown goes to the pit. Sorry, I mixed up 2 names. Joe Brown, sorry, goes to the pit. And he's custom livery, the one he ran before in the previous series. Well, he's in no...
See how this plays out, because VDS is now approaching.
Yeah, he's approaching. Did VDS
Alex
pitted?
Moore able to stay with him for now.
Not sure if VDS pitted yet or no.
No, I don't think so. No, not even Alex Moore.
Across the 40 minutes
None
mark.
of these people have pitted. So this is effectively a track position battle now. Because VDS is now P2, and Alex Moore, so close into the second corner. Alex Moore misjudging the braking zone here.
That could have ended very horribly.
To, John VDS.
That could have gone quite wrong. Alex Moore is in the chase of John Villegas, not giving up.
Ooh, and Giuseppe Pastore getting compromised there. He almost lost it.
Yeah, he's getting into a fight between 2 guys for the possible...
yeah, he's pushing though. He's trying to escape from Nicola. Look at that. Nicola now on the outside.
Wow! Looks like the server...
Oh, and that's huge. That's a race-changing moment for both of the drivers, because now Nicola has a bigger disadvantage towards the leader, and also more losing contact towards Van de Gest, and now behind Samir Arshad, which is of course a lower car, and Coelho also improving and actually getting close to Alex Moore. So drama at the 40 minutes mark.
But I think Johnny Villegas might have got the upper hand now, because he's no longer have to worry about Alex Moore, since he got in contact. As this is really
man,
this is really nerve-wracking to watch, because you don't know what the
Nicola smartly waits for the straight to make the pass.
Yeah.
But he's lost quite a bit of time now, Giuseppe Pastore. Weird to see Moore always getting the bad side of those episodes. That's now the second time he's been involved in one of those weird crashes.
Yeah, I mean, when you have this server issue and when you're driving, a car pops off and you don't know where it's gonna appear. And it might appear within the car, ahead of you. It might even stop completely. As you can see, it might go from the left to the right. It is so hard to judge. Hopefully these server issues gets fixed by the second race. Like I said again, the merge to a new host might have caused this issue. So I'm sure it'll be fixed. Quite optimistic about it, as every driver should be right now. So let me get this right, Lorenzo. Who made the contact with Alex? Was it Nicola or Giuseppe? Because they're driving the same car, having the same last name. I'm getting confused. Looks like Lorenzo has gone for the donut wall technique, as he's a little bit busy right now. As I'm yet to get correct information, because the liveries and the names, because it's showing the last name sometimes, and it's confusing to understand who is in what's going on. A lot of things going on. So until Lorenzo gets back to me, we'll keep watching this battle unfold as we watch the leader of the GT class, Johnny Gutierrez, 73 seconds ahead of John Vidiguest, who himself is in P2. I think he will have to lose that position to probably Joe Brown, because he's yet to pit.
Yes, Joe Brown made a very good pit stop, so he's probably gonna inherit that second place. But Johnny Gutierrez with an amazing pace, almost one full lap clear of John Vidiguest.
Wow. Pastore is in the pit.
Yes, that's Giuseppe, I think.
Nicola
no,
is.
That's Nicola. Never mind.
Yeah. Oh, and it looks
probably
like
fixing the damage collected by that weird tangle.
No, he was yet to pit, Lorenzo. He was yet to pit.
No, both of the Pastore had already made their first pit stop, actually. So this is Nicola's second stop. Probably to fix some of the damage that he collected with the.
What would he do there? Maybe the car was undrivable. Something must have led him.
Probably a conservative way, because it was very much clear of Selby anyway.
Yeah,
so
he's a clear of Tanner too.
Sure, yeah, making sure to have a comfortable car for the remainder of the race.
He's still in the pit. He's about to cross the 1 minute mark. Sorry, is that 1 minute? It is the 1 minute mark.
Wow. Yeah, tough lap for Nicola right there. That's gonna cost him the race, probably. There we see Giuseppe. Sorry, Tanner Selby this is. Actually getting the second place, so that puts Nicola on the back foot.
It does, yeah. Nicola has spent quite some time in the pit, didn't he? 1 minute 21 seconds in the pit. Wow, that's a lot of time. He's 26 seconds behind Tanner Selby now, dropping to 30. This is it's going to be quite impossible to recover. Selby takes a I would call it a P2 on a golden plate. Why would Pastore...
Yeah, it's not going to be impossible for Pastore to recover, but it's going to be a hell of a job now.
Yeah, but why would Nicola go for the pit and spend that much time just to fix the car? It seems weird, because it didn't look like he collected any big damage. Maybe because of what happened to Alex Moore made his car undrivable, but still, you wouldn't want to put your position into a bad spot, which led to him losing the P2. I mean, he's about 2 seconds to 3 seconds faster than Tanner Selby, but in the matter of 33 minutes, is it going to be possible for him to achieve that? I guess we'll have to see. Wow, quite dramatic.
Absolute drama, as you said, Nas. And actually, having Pastore behind Selby makes it so close, because we know for a fact that based on the pace that they showed here at Sepang, Pastore had the upper hand on raw pace. So this actually brings it forward for the next race. Having Selby with a slight points advantage on one of the two leaders of this race, effectively, should give us a great fight, both in qualifying and the race. Now, meanwhile, in the GT3, we are watching the battle between Samir Arshad and Peter Vlar. That's for the that's outside the points.
Yeah, that's for P11. For P11. But Peter Vlar,
Peter Vlar looks faster right now.
He does look faster, yeah.
Oh, and yeah, they just try to force a move there. That's quite not the place you want to try and overtake, but he will get around now in the fast corners before the backstretch. Yeah, he goes slightly wide there, keeps it in shape. Where we see is slightly going for the inside, but
I wish I can see what the driver they're seeing right now with the lag going on, because it could be completely different from what they see and what we see. As Samir trying to close the inside for Peter.
Samir, big defense on the inside now, forcing Peter to the long way around. Peter, actually, that defense worked pretty good. Peter was not able to make the cut back the inside, so yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff, absolutely. Looks like Samir decided to go for what we like to call the crab move, where you just put your car on the inside line as Samir goes wide again. He's having issues in this race. Going downhill. I mean, Vlar might have just tucked into his racing line, and he could have got a better shot. He looks like he wanted to go from the outside, which is quite safe, judging by what's going on in the server, as Pastore sits out a fastest lap, 1:48.9. Vlar needs to calm down and understand where Samir is struggling most, as he's trying to squeeze his car now, hoping that Samir sees him. Samir does.
Samir making a good defense.
He is, and
closing all the doors in the fast corners. That's not the place you wanna be aggressive on defense. As we now see Peter
throws
Vlar
the car inside. They touch.
That's a bad move from Vlar. That's not the place you want to overtake. But Samir,
it looks like he gave the position, and Samir didn't notice Tanner.
They need to be careful, though. They need to be careful because Selby was there. They almost touched. Now Vlar probably lifted and let Samir retake the place. Good on Peter. Good fair play there. And
absolute maximum respect you can see in this league.
This is something that I really love about SimRacingOnline. All the people here are so nice to each other and respectful. I will see Vlar now looking up the inside. Great battle there between these two.
Absolutely. I mean, I would like to introduce our viewers, whether you're from YouTube or Twitch, to the what's been known in this series, the absolute respect. The admins have been quite relaxed, not having to worry about reports, nothing. I mean, if a driver does something wrong, give the place back, and if it didn't have to be that way, they just apologize to each other, learn from it, and keep moving on. It's been clean. The sportsmanship is really, like I always say, off the charts, beyond expectations. Something very hard to see in online racing. Speaking from experience.
Now we saw Vlar make the cutback stick this time. And he goes slightly wide there in turn one, but Samir Arshad is too far back to even try and force a move. Oh, but Vlar goes wide and almost loses the car. Samir now has a run towards him. Let's see if he tries to make a move into turn 3. I don't think he's gonna be quite able to do that. Meanwhile, Johnny Gutierrez is in the pits, but he was very much clear of everybody else. Samir Arshad very late on the brakes. Good stop. Nicola Pastore just comes to lap them now, and let's see what he does with Peter Vlaar as well. Oh, they two touch.
What is going on? Wow!
Vlaar is around. Oh my goodness, Nicola has not made one single clean lapping
They
maneuver.
glitch into each other.
Yeah.
What
Nicola seems to be suffering.
Oh,
and he left. Oh man. Such a shame to see that happen.
This is sad news, Lorenzo. This is absolutely sad news.
This is terrible news, boys.
I think after what what the sportsmanship Peter showed, he did not deserve that. He absolutely did not. But it's not like we're blaming the DPI cars, or it's just an issue, a server issue.
As Nicola gets closer to cars, it looks to be lagging out. Probably the server doesn't recognize his car or something.
Yeah.
It looks like the server glitches when Nicola gets close to another car, so Nicola really has to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, Nicola, 12 seconds now. How did he do that, Lorenzo? How? What an astonishing drive by Nicola Pastore. He has only about 15 seconds now to close up, dropping down to 12, 10.
Probably he has now put a higher and let's say race kind of petrol mixture for his car now. He's gonna be burning all that fuel up nice and fast, and he's lapping about 3 seconds faster than Selvi. So Selvi effectively having to watch his back as Pastore makes his way past a few GT cars and is now in the second sector. Gap is now down to 11 seconds and dropping fast.
Wow.
Look at that.
I did not see that coming, Lorenzo.
Me
Absolutely
neither. We were just saying that Nicola had to make a hell of a job to get back.
He already did.
It doesn't look quite as hard as we predicted now.
I mean, you gotta appreciate drives like these when you see them. Absolute motivation to get that place back. I mean, it was quite a move to get your car fixed and then chase back the P2. Obviously, you're not gonna get the win because it's impossible to get Giuseppe. They're the same pace. They have the same pace. It's gonna be difficult unless just something goes to Giuseppe. So something wrong happens to Giuseppe, which we do not wish. But yeah, what a job! What a job by Nicola Pastore as he get past, presume John Vidi Guest. Yes, it is John Vidi Guest. Currently sitting in a P2. Has he pitted, Lorenzo? I would like to know. And it looks like Vidi Guest did not pit yet. Is he going for a full-on race? I doubt the car can do it. When is he gonna pit?
He's probably gonna pit at the 20 minutes mark. That would be a logic decision. He's probably hoping for Gutierrez to lose time. Gutierrez has pitted a couple laps ago, so Vidi Guest is due in the pits in the next couple of let's say laps. Probably, I'm sure he will pit soon, but. Really amazing to see the GT cars being able to hold more than 1 hour of racing. That's quite remarkable.
Alex Moore is having a fight with Joe Brown right now. Looks like Alex Moore is not done today of having battles. He's been battling John Vidi Guest, but after what he's been collected by the server issues, he's now fighting Joe Brown.
Yeah, Joe Brown recovering all that time from an earlier tangle with one of the DPI cars as well, and he's now hounding Alex Moore down. Alex Moore looks to be struggling probably with the damaged car. Let's remember he's yet to pit as well. So Joe Brown and Alex Moore will battle until something happens between those two, or the strategy plays out in favor of one of them.
Of course, as Alex is might be possibly fighting for the P2 because John Vidi Guest is yet to pit. Alex is about 13 seconds behind John Vidi Guest, and the moment he pits, Alex and Joe Brown will pass John Vidi Guest. So let's see how this will play out. As Joe Brown is swarming Alex Wolf right now.
Yeah, but it's absolutely crucial to these two that they don't lose time while fighting one another, because that's gonna play into John Guest's hand.
It is, and I'm sure it will. Because these
I'm
guys...
pretty sure it will, because John Guest looks to be in an advantage situation,
Yeah.
although he needs to keep in his mind that Gutierrez is miles away. Gutierrez really having a class of his own today.
Yeah, Gutierrez is can't be touched
nowhere
today.
near being able to be cashed by the others. Towards him and Vitigas, there are like, I don't know, 90 seconds now, something like that. And as we see a nice battle rivaling between what I believe is Barrett Erickson, yeah, there he is, and Lewis Middleton, two of the protagonists from the last season. Barrett Erickson, as I told you, cracking the top 8, and let's see what he can do as the pit stops happen ahead of him. That's going to be interesting to see. As I told you, Barrett Erickson is one of the most patient guys you can actually see in sim racing. He will just sit and wait behind you until something crazy happens, and he's somehow able to capitalize on it, and that's been his game changer for the last season. Now Middleton is kind of forced to move up the inside, but he was too far back. As we now see Nicola Pastore making a move on Tanner Selby. It has happened in the space of laps. Nicola Pastore regaining the second place in DPI class from Tanner Selby, as they now come up to lap Lewis Middleton and Barrett
He's
Erickson.
not waiting, is he? He's pushing Barrett Erickson.
Man,
Open up the
war. That's crucial. That's gonna give him a good breathing space, separating him from Selby now. Yeah, Selby is yet to make his way up the inside of those cars. Look at that. Selby being compromised by these two fighting. Oh, and that could cause contact. Selby needs
hopefully
to be
the server doesn't
make the move stick.
I'm just hoping server doesn't do the thing he does. It does, because Lewis Middleton could have took advantage of what happened there, because Nicola was really not making it easy for Barrett Erickson to get past him, throwing the car into first corner, let it hang, and it did hang absolutely. Looks like they're switching lights for some reason. Not sure what the message is going on between the drivers. It's Barrett Erickson still ahead of Lewis Middleton, goes a little bit in the inside. Barrett decides to defend, and Lewis Middleton gets ahead, outbrakes him into that corner, going up into the right side corner. Barrett Erickson seems to be not in the place to fight Lewis Middleton, as all Lewis Middleton had to do was to just wait for the right moment, outbrake, and make that pass clean, as Giuseppe Pastore is trying to pass Barrett Erickson. Hopefully this goes smooth.
Yeah, this goes well. Giuseppe is able to make his way past, no problem. Oh, and sad news is that we have learned that Samir Arshad is into the wall and retired. Fortunately, he was caught out by the curb, the same curb that Ricardo Riva was caught out by. So that curb really has killed quite a few people today. And yeah, it's kind of sad, to be honest, because these curbs in our Factor 2, man, they're not the real thing. So these cars are so sensitive somehow to those, and Arshad is not the first victim to that.
He absolutely isn't. Barrett Erickson made up quite a places from the last place, P19 or P18. I think it was P18 up to P9. I mean, I'm sure most of it is because a lot of people DNF'd, but still, he's gonna make himself a lot of points as he passes. Camera shot, great shot there. He's about to be lapped. Every time I see a DPI car about to lap somebody, it's just, and thankfully that was not a DPI.
Yeah, it gets you, gets
your
nervous. Attention, doesn't
Absolutely, it gets my attention and it gets me nervous, because I don't know, it could be the wrong moment for the server to just do the thing and, you know, possibly cause him DNF as it did before. And these are the things you can't expect when it comes to sim racing, because anything could happen. A server issue, a hardware issue. These things you cannot
Yeah,
predict.
so many variables into play.
So you just have to be prepared. And when I say prepared, some things you just cannot. As this time, it is not a fault of anyone. It's just a server issue. They have to redo the race. It's gonna be hard, so they just have to stick to what they have right now. As Johnny Gutierrez, I think, yeah, he is. Sorry, he is about to pass Barrett Erickson. He's supposed to be under blue flag right now. As Johnny Gutierrez is about to pass the.
Barrett Erickson is playing mind games now. I
He
think
is.
he wants Johnny to be sure and be clear that Barrett is not gonna give up on the title just because Johnny is there.
I mean, Barrett Erickson leans on like.
There he concedes the place now, but
Yeah.
he's not giving up, is he?
I mean, if he sticks like this for one more lap, he might. I mean, I'm not sure how many laps, but after some laps, few of them, he might get a penalty. Barrett Erickson under blue flag, so good for him to wave and not weave and not lose much time.
Yeah, but it's a good scramble.
Absolutely, yeah, I can agree with that. Alex, Johnny Gutierrez, 35 seconds ahead of Johnny VD Guest, which he is yet to pit VD Guest. Wow, he's looks like he heard me.
He pits now at the 16 minutes mark. That's pretty damn remarkable. That's 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, and Alex Moore pits at the same time. Notices that Johnny VD Guest is pitting, also decides to pit as well. Wow, looks like
yeah, look
VD
at
Guest
this.
might keep.
I think VD Guest has the advantage overall. He came into the pits earlier. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, he did.
Already
He
out.
will probably keep his as he will pass anytime soon. There he is,
Yes,
John
there
VD
we are.
Guest. Oh look, Alex Moore is revving his car, trying to get out, and eventually he does.
Yeah, well, it's close. I'll tell you that. It's close.
Yeah, but
Probably not quite close enough to be produce another fight, but VDS is now in front of Moore effectively, and Carl Middleton will be right there to pick up the pieces of that.
yeah, I mean, I'm not. Alex Moore probably didn't see or envision that Carl Middleton was behind him, so maybe pitting there might have not been a good call, but eventually he had to pit. We're 15 minutes to go in the race, so those tires must have been dead, completely used, so it wouldn't made much sense to stay out. So maybe he could have pitted earlier, maybe not. What happened had happened. It is what it is for now. Johnny VD Guest keeps his podium. Wonderful job from VD Guest. He had a lot of downs in the last series we broadcasted, so it's good to see him here. Absolutely jinx-free comment. We gotta be careful, Lawrence, don't we?
Yeah, as you said that, we got a yellow flag in Sector 1.
Yeah, so. I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful what I'm saying. I don't want to put these innocent souls into the curse of the commentary. As Alex Moore, 4 seconds behind Carl Middleton. It's gonna be impossible to catch him unless he. I mean, the lap times is quite similar. If not, Carl Middleton is quite faster, so it's gonna be impossible to catch him. They might actually lose time to it. Ed Jones, 30 seconds behind Alex Moore. He's also safe from Didier Coelho. He's about 16 seconds ahead of him. His lap time has been quite okay. Coelho has been putting better pace, but in the span of time we have, not sure if it's going to be possible for Coelho to make any move on Ed Jones.
It looks to be quite far back. Didier Coelho is yet to make his way into the backstretch, so at least 10 seconds gap.
I mean, he's in a beautiful Ferrari. Stock livery of the game, I presume. Looking quite good. Hammering that car. I mean, he deserves to be ahead of Ed Jones, but racing is not about who deserves. It's about who gets the results done. And Ed Jones had the edge, and now he's ahead of Didier Coelho. It was Middleton 10 seconds behind Didier Coelho. I mean, the split time between these guys isn't that big, but judging by how much time we have left in the race, it won't be enough for them to trigger any battle anytime soon. I'm talking midfields. As Bayer Ericsson is also 13 seconds now clear of... he's about 88 seconds now clear of Rob Milliken. So he's nowhere to be compromised to lose his P9. Good points for him. The series. Rob Milliken is also trying to keep that car.
He's been struggling with the setup probably during the
most likely
during the weekend. BMW is still a car that has a lot to give to him as well. So Rob will surely improve as the season goes on.
Of course, he still has a... I mean, this is a new car that's been dropped by Studio 397, so maybe people are still not understanding how the car should be, or how it should be driven to extract the absolute out of this car. So maybe people could judge it quickly and switch cars, and some people will try to stick to it. We'll see that for the next race. Samir Arshad DNF'd, so Rob Milliken now is running the last position, which is the P10 for now. Giuseppe Pastore is still leading the class of the DPI. He had quite a fight with his relative at the beginning, but unfortunately Nicola had a collision due to the server issues with Pardon, which led him to go in the pit and fix his car because it was deemed to be undrivable, which cost him about a minute 21 seconds in the pit. And then unfortunately, or fortunately, he was able to get his P2 back from Tanner Selvi, but that's not bad news for Tanner Selvi because he's in the P3, in the podium, and he's in nowhere to be attacked by anyone from behind because
and very much in contention for that P2 still, because if Nicola makes a mistake, Tanner is right there. It's barely 12 seconds.
Of course, 12 seconds now, 10 seconds, it's in that margin, but like you said, a small mistake. But we know, like Lorenzo, if we speak realistically, we know Nicola Pastore isn't that guy to make a mistake, especially in these early
I don't think so. Yeah. I think Nicola is just gonna keep his cool now and salvage that P2. Probably will keep it, he wants that P2 to keep contact with Giuseppe, the Drivers' Championship. Obviously, Salvi will need to work on the car to be able to cut that gap down. So yeah, it's an interesting battle in DPI. Finally, we have a good battle in the King class.
Indeed,
last year was pretty much Johnny Gutierrez blasting everyone.
Yeah, Tony Talviti as well, which he seems to be missing in this class, in this series. Hopefully he joins in later.
He's in the GT class probably. I think both of them. Yes, Tony Talviti was starting third today in GT class.
He is in the GT
fell
class.
Back in lap 1, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's running the team Gear, Gear, alongside John Vidi-Guest. Lots of teams we had. Bad Voice Racing, Flying Crowbar Racing, the Hicks Sim Racing, Virtual Driver Alliance, Bad Voice Racing, Ace Motorsport. Hopefully you heard your name, you got your shout out.
Shout out to everyone participating in this, and what a better way for me to say that if you want to be part of this, make sure to join SimRacingOnline. They have a lot of sim racing series going on, both here on R Factor 2 and Assetto Corsa and Automobilista and quite a few other games. Be sure to check eitharacingteam, your broadcaster for this race and this series, on Discord. And bring the cause, help the cause.
8 minutes to go for this race to finish. Johnny Gutierrez still leading, And if you want to be reminded, it's 58 seconds ahead. Still untouchable in this race. He hasn't been challenged by anybody yet. Not in the quali nor in the race. He's been in a league of his own so far. Followed by Joe Brown. Good stuff for him today. P2, first race. Still in contention to win this championship. He has some work to do. Some more in-depth practicing. Because we believe and we know for a fact that Joe Brown has enough skills to possibly fight for the win. But against a guy like Johnny Gutierrez, he makes it an impossible mission. Because we know Johnny Gutierrez has been the champion of the last series. He's been dominating. He had strong fights with Tony Talviti. I mean, we're yet to see some drivers that also have a lot of potential, including Tony Talviti. Hopefully we see him in the next race, which will be in Mexico, or Mexico, if you want to hear it precisely, the native language. So we can't wait to see him in the next race. So I'm sure he will bring a lot of action, especially in the lead, Johnny Gutierrez. And yeah, quite a series we're looking forward now to. Carl Middleton, 21 seconds, and only 3 seconds behind, I would say Alex Moore is 5 seconds behind Carl Middleton, and Carl Middleton is 20 seconds behind Joe Brown. So he's not safe from Alex Moore, as we have 6 minutes 30 seconds to go for the race. John Vidiguest as well sits in P5, 4 seconds behind Alex Moore. This is the battle we've seen earlier in the race that should have been close, but unfortunately due to what happened, it got spreaded a little bit, so they didn't get the chance to fight again. They did in the middle, but as soon as they pitted, looks like John Vidiguest will retain his P5 for now. He have to settle with it, as Ed Jones is in his blue-white McLaren 720. 33 seconds behind John Vidiguest. Showed a great pace today, but wasn't quite enough to put him in the top. So I'm sure he too has some work to be done. The first race is not the end. It is the first race. It is called the first race for a reason. You still have 5 more races to go, and it's all up to the drivers to show their skills and show what they can do for this series. The skill level is matched. It's just about consistency and keeping the car, or letting the car in the track and staying out of trouble, while also providing great battles. Should be the key for you to win this championship. As Didier Coelho as well, following Ed Jones in a P7 in his Ferrari. Looks like it seems to be the only Ferrari of today, because I haven't seen much of it. We'll have to look into that later, as we see Lewis Middleton right behind him, only about 1.5 seconds. He has 4 minutes to make something out of it, as he gets Nicola right behind him. Let's see if since Nicola knows now that there's no way for him to catch the guy ahead of him, he has to take his time, possibly not try to bring it alongside, maybe just do it quickly, does it quickly. Now he has to get past Didier Coelho. We get a yellow in sector 3.
Sector 3 yellow flag now.
What's going on?
Didier Coelho, I wouldn't want to be in Didier Coelho's shoes right now, but Nicola is able to make his way safely. Yeah, race is still on between these two drivers. Middleton and Coelho going at it in the last 4 minutes of the race. The BMW almost getting out of shape on that curb. The BMW has been the most sensitive car to the Sepang curves right there. We have seen at least 3 of them crashing out with big crashes also after leaning too much on the curb. So quite this could be quite a worry for the teams in the next few races.
Of course, but like I said, first race is you only have to gather. You might lose, but you absolutely want the
You have to
information
make the
you need.
most of it.
You know now.
Oh, Coelho! Oh, look at that!
Ooh,
Coelho
he's trying to
getting
look up the
slightly out
inside.
of shape into the last corner for the backstretch.
They get past.
BMW is splitting the draft quite, I think, late. The Ferrari has got good top end
Yeah, he might be
and is
running low
able to stretch
downforce.
the gap.
He could have been in a low set of downforce. It looks like Lewis Middleton nails the apex, gets a good exit, should just tuck in behind
But
and
yes, but look at the Ferrari just building up
yeah.
at least a car length worth of gap right there. At least 6 or 7 meters gap more than what it was before. So Cueto having to really stretch his gap now. He is gonna have to capitalize on this straightaway right there after the second turn.
I mean, it looks almost the splitstream look inexistent due to what the Ferrari can pull. The speed, I mean, being behind the splitstream should give you about 5 to maybe 7 kilometers of speed, but the Ferrari is just too fast in the straights. And
yeah, Ferrari is looking very fast indeed, and also is able to get a good traction out of the uphill turn 3 as they now go through turn 4, the left-hander, turn 5, the fast right-hander, and now the interesting section with those two flat-out right-handers right there. Just a tiny bit of braking for Didier Coelho to take it safe with those used tires. The BMW really working well in the second sector as he now tries to move up the outside.
Ooh,
but
close.
Too risky there. Coelho timing the maneuver, the defense maneuver, perfectly to survive for another couple of corners. Let's see what Middleton can do about it. Oh, better line from Middleton there. He has to try and force a move before the backstretch comes up, otherwise the Ferrari will just run away again. It's not quite able to do that, but he gets
the inside, the cutback worked.
Nice job. Now they're side by side, but the Ferrari has a slight top speed differential advantage. Let's see what the BMW is able to bring to the battle.
Yeah, side by side going to the last corner.
Look at that Ferrari holding up.
Yeah, maybe Lewis can get a cutback.
Not quite. The Ferrari has got good traction out of the last corner, but the BMW is so close now. Cueto having to defend, and in fact he goes up the inside of the track now. He's gonna be compromised though.
This is the last lap for these guys.
I think so. Yeah,
it is.
I think depends on whether Pastore guys are.
Yeah, the Pastore is about to finish his race. He's going now into sector 2. So it should open the door for...
Yes, this is indeed the last lap.
Yeah, Lewis Middleton sees this, knows that this is the last lap. He must do something about it.
Having to defend big time now because they're coming up to the part of the track where the BMW really comes alive, as we see Giuseppe Pastore crawling to the last sector of the race with that amazing P1 in DPI class. Such a good psychological blow to everybody else by winning with this big of an amount of time.
Yeah.
I mean, he has got one full lap on Selby and 5 laps on the Silva. I mean, that's quite a way to
Lewis
start
Middleton got past Coelho.
Now, Middleton got past the Ferrari, but there are still a few corners to go. The BMW does not have to concede anything, as we see Giuseppe crossing the finish straight for the last time.
Winner of the race.
Celebrating an amazing win. Good job, Giuseppe, because that was a great show, getting the P1 and effectively the first win of the season. Johnny Gutierrez coming up to the back stretch now to finish his race as well. Middleton has made the move stick on Coelho. Coelho was not able to recover that. It's still very close, but not quite close enough. We see them in the background right there. And yeah, look at that. Coelho losing the place to Middleton in the last lap, but What a race by Johnny
Yeah,
Gutierrez.
the winner in
The
GT class.
champion in LMP2 wins in GT at Sepang. What a
Wow,
way to win
you
it.
love to see it.
What a way to win it.
Absolutely, absolutely. As the Nicola Pastore also about to to cross the start finish line to get his P2. Amazing, amazing race today. Maybe the Silva got no. Johnny Gutierrez was ahead of him, so looked like he got DNF'd, but thankfully he didn't. As Nicola is yet to finish his race, about to bring that car home, get a. He had to settle for a P2 today. I'm sure the next race he'll come out stronger, and he'll get the better chance. We hope so. But he knows for a fact that his relative is not gonna make it easy for him. As he's in the last corner, about to pass Cara Middleton, drags his car.
There we go. Nicola Pastore completes the Either Racing Team 1-2 in DPI and comes home for quite a, maybe for him personally, a disappointing second place. But this is the way the team wanted to start the season, really. And now Pastore will obviously have a word with Moore to apologize for that problem, because that wasn't on him, basically. But such an unfortunate race for Moore. I reckon he deserved more than what he got. He was able to fight his way up to P2 at one stage. So yeah, tough race, but what a great quality of racing,
Oh,
Ness.
absolutely, Lord. I loved it. I loved it. I'm sure there will be a lot more people for the next race. We're missing quite a lot today, but you can see that it's still a hefty, long field, which brought some interesting races, should I say.
And let's now analyze the final divisional standings.
Absolutely.
In DPI class, we have Giuseppe Pastore winning the race by 145 seconds. And Giuseppe Pastore really making a show for us today and winning the race by a big amount of time. Then Nicola Pastore is second with a great recovery on the third place Tanner Selby. So 1, 2, 3 for Acura today. Fourth place is Gilles de Silva, 4 laps down. A good race, solid effort from the driver. Paulo Rodriguez unfortunately DNF'd in the early stages, probably hardware issues. And still not many DPIs, but Andrew Harper with the Mazda with a best lap of 155.1. We look forward to watching him battle with the other guys. As we now see the GT3 class, Johnny Gutierrez winning by a great amount of time on Joe Brown in P2, Carl Middleton completing the podium, Alex Moore in P4, and John Vidiguest P5 with great pace shown by the Dutch driver today. Ed Jones P6, Middleton in P7. He was able to snatch the P8 from Didier Coelho, P8. Bart Eriksson P9, the championship standing leader from last season, having a torrid race today, but he was able to salvage a couple points. And completing the top 10 is Rob Milliken. As we come to the end of this amazing first race, we want to thank you all for watching. And if you want to be part of this great spectacle, just make sure to check simracingonline.co.uk. If you want to join Eta Racing Team, just look out for the link in the chat here on Twitch. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Next race will be in 2 weeks' time. And we will keep you posted both on our Discord and our Instagram. So make sure to keep an eye on that as well.
Absolutely, and if you're still watching, one of the drivers, you feel like you want to be interviewed, we have a channel for that. You can join the General Voice channel. This is the best time for you to do it so we can jag you in if you wish to be interviewed. In the meantime, the upcoming race will be the Mexican race in Mexico. It's going to happen in the April
Mexico.
17th.
So
Yeah,
Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez, crazy tricky track because of the altitude. Race is located about 3,000 meters over above sea level. So really tough race for the engines.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, Mexico has been a tough race for every car, but I'm sure these cars can handle the heat a little bit. Can also handle close contact, close racing.
Yes, and track limits as well.
Absolutely. Well, looks like our broadcast is coming to an end. This was a fantastic race. If you want to be, as Lorenzo said, if you want to take part, don't forget SimRacingOnline.co.uk, make an account, and you shall be in this broadcast. If you're watching from YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to SimRacing Online. And thanks for watching. And I hope you enjoy this race. We'll see you around.